Welcome to the Epic Success Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Shannon Irvine. Today, I'm going to be talking all about the mindset that you need, that you have to have actually, in order to grow a business, especially a business online. So I just had the opportunity to invite a few hundred people into our new program, the 67-day year. And this program is all around training your brain to actually allow success and neutralizing and erasing those blocks that get in the way. And in that few weeks when I was really talking to a lot of new folks that have never tapped into the power that's available to you for mindset growth, that can literally collapse time, like literally take a year's worth of time and collapse it down to 67 days. And I talk about this a lot because of how the brain wires and fires success and how it stops you in your tracks if you do not neutralize some of those voices in your head. So today we're going to talk about what type of mindset you need in order to truly succeed and scale in a business online. All right, let's go. So to talk about these things, there's three key components that if you work on them, they really do take you to the next level. And the first one is consistency. Now you hear this a lot, like consistency is the name of the game. You see great Instagram quotes around it, but what does consistency mean? And this is the part of what I'd love for you to start asking questions around when you see super successful people repeating words like consistency. What does consistency mean? And what does consistency mean for your mindset and for your mind? And what is actually happening when you're consistent? So why consistency is such a key component of lasting, long, high-level success is because you're constantly needing to train your brain, train the networks in your mind that this is what I do. This is who I am. And when we're inconsistent or the opposite of that, and the inconsistency comes in because your brain really tries to keep you aligned with what is safe and familiar. In other words, aligned with your past, aligned with the stories about money, worth, enoughness, all the stories that have driven you so far. And I really want to show you how to literally unhitch those stories of the past so you can actually hitch up to the stories of your future that are going to grow you. But in the terms of consistency versus inconsistency, what inconsistency is actually doing for you is it's allowing you to play small. It's allowing you to take a few steps so you get the endorphins, you get the dopamine, you feel good, but then you'll go left or you'll go right. You'll go chase a strategy or you'll go work on something, my perfectionist, for like hours and hours and hours. And then what will happen is your brain will go into overload. It will stop you. And then you will get inconsistent. And you know you're in this pattern if you're like starting and stopping and starting and stopping. But in your heart of hearts, God's given you that call, that desire. So you keep getting back up and keep trying, but it's very inconsistent. So what do you need to do to grow consistency in your mindset that no matter what, this is what I do and this is who I am? That's the definition in terms of the mindset. This is what I do. This is who I am. And because who I am is this, that means I am going to do these things. The way to hack your brain around that or to trick your brain around that is to not think of the thousands upon thousands of things you need to do and this huge audience you need to grow. And I don't know if I need to go left or right or this or that. And honestly, let me just be real with you. I love my friends that teach marketing, but I've got to say there's a lot of marketing noise that's telling you, oh, the best way is to grow an audience. The best way is to be on stages. The best way is webinars. The best way is building your digital business. The best way is getting your website going, MLM. I mean, so much overload of information. There's plenty of opportunities for the squirrel moment. You know what I'm talking about? That moment where you're feeling resistance. And we're going to talk about that resistance piece. You're feeling like you're not sure. You've never been here before. You don't know. And you either pull the plug and stop doing it, or you'll go left and right and get busy work done or chasing new things, but you're not actually staying consistent. So what is the hack, Shannon? What is the hack to like literally go around this system? The hack is to go micro. Because remember, your brain starts to panic and go into overwhelm when you show it something so big that it doesn't align with what's in automation, what's stored already, what you've already done. So something we do in the 67-day year is teach you a process to take it from those big, huge goals that I want you to dream. So you get to be that dreamer, be that visionary, but then it's taking the vision, the big, epic, audacious goal, and bringing it down into consistent 10 to 20 minute tasks that you can do every single day. And so what happens in your mind is it's no longer seeing, we call it this big mountain of a vision and a goal. It's seeing these micro, tiny steps, and your brain doesn't see them as a threat. So it allows the consistency from the neurochemicals. It allows you to be motivated enough to get those 3 to 4 things done that take you 10 to 15, 20 minutes a day. That grows consistency. Now, here's the coolest thing of all. In your brain, what starts to happen is what we call micro stacking. So what will happen in your brain is as you're taking these really consistent, although non-threatening steps toward the big, epic, audacious goal that you've broken down, your brain starts building these chemicals and these connections that say that this is who I am and this is what I do. And if you do it the next day and you do it the next day, what you're doing, if I could scan your brain, is you're creating a pathway toward the vision, toward the thing that you want the most. So that is my big hack for you in this episode is consistency from a brain-based perspective is not just trying to use willpower. It's taking that big, epic, audacious goal from this huge place that you dream in down to some smaller, big rocks or boulders that you need to accomplish to get that big dream to happen, down to one big rock or boulder that you need to make it happen. And then taking that one down to where you've gone micro, and then you're just taking those few steps a day, putting it in your calendar, making sure you do that first when you have the most neural power to go after it, that you're not picking up your phone and consistently putting other people's dreams, other people's visions in front of your own, but really going after those. Mike, I say, go micro. If you want to grow consistency, go grow and go micro, because in that moment, day to day, you're literally building a network in your brain that allows success to happen. Now, that's number one. Number two is really very, very important. If you're wanting to create a mindset that will allow you to grow a successful business online or offline, or become a successful CEO, we've got to overcome resistance and those voices, those limiting beliefs, those things that are whispering in our ear. I used to actually call that voice a name, and then I ended up having a student with that name, so I no longer did that. So I just call that like the devil, because really you're put on this earth to do big things. You're playing a smaller game because of your mindset not being built from the inside out, right? And you know this because you go and get motivated, you go to seminars, you feel great in the moment, but after that dopamine hit wears off, you're back in that place of inconsistency, feeling resistance and wanting to stop, hearing the voices and not really seeing clearly, right? So why is that happening? It's because you're leaning on willpower, which is a muscle that fatigues, or chemicals that fatigue, I should say, but like a muscle, versus going in and actually removing the path in your mind that holds that voice. And after working with thousands of students, there's some consistent voices that I hear, and I have them too, along the lines of like, who do you think you are, right? That's what my little evil voice, because the truth is, if I stop listening to that voice and I actually erase that voice, then the consistency happens. Then I don't mind resistance. Then the vision is really, really clear because I know I have to step into that calling because I need to be fully embracing what I was put on the earth to do. And so are you. So really, when I boil it down to what stops 98% of people from growing and being successful with their business, it's this number 2. It's overcoming the limiting beliefs, the automatic negative thoughts, the ants, and really leaning into resistance. So I'll explain it like this. And if you're watching me on video, you can see this, but I want you to imagine my hand is up high. And that represents your dream, your vision, your calling, the thing that you really want to accomplish in this world. And your automations are what's on autopilot that you got from your family of origin, your environment of origin, about money, about success, about worth, about failure, about other people, about judgment, all those things. Unless you have purposefully chosen those for yourself and then primed them in, then you are actually using someone else's broken model of what it means to have money, of what it means to be enough, of what it means to have success, to deal with failure. All of those stories aren't even your stories, but yet they're stopping you. They're stopping you. So to overcome these voices, we've got to neutralize and erase their power, right? So with the hand up in the air representing the big, epic, audacious goal. And then if you picture an opposite side down really low, another hand where that is your automations that you didn't choose that are on autopilot, they're running 90% of your daily actions and decisions. And so what happens is when you start to say, I want to get closer to my vision, there is like a resistance that happens and you feel it physically. You feel it emotionally, you feel it mentally. It's that feeling of like, it'll represent out as I'm unclear. I don't know. You'll get physical feelings in your stomach or across your chest or across your back. That's all your brain's doing is saying, this does not align with what is in your past, what has been repeated over you, right? But I don't know about you. I'd like to choose my own stories around money, worth, enoughness, calling, vision, all of those things. And so the key here or the hack here is the old adage, you starve. I think it's a fever, right? Yeah, you starve a fever. And what do I mean by that? This voice that's telling you, that's trying to make you simmer down, is trying to make you kind of go back down to status quo. Don't get eaten by the tiger, even though the vision is the tiger, right? The vision is the thing that you want and your brain is seeing it as a threat. So we've really got to, instead of doing what most high performers do, most people who are entrepreneurs or trying to grow a business, is they hear the voice and they try to run faster than the voice. And here's how that looks. Well, when I get to 6 figures, then I will be, validated, right? Or when I get my first 5 customers, then I'll feel confident. So what that is doing is it's looking in the current to get results from the future. And you're not going to see it in the current. And so what will happen is the voices will get louder and louder and louder. So the key to this is really hearing the limiting beliefs. Like, what are you saying to yourself? And here's a clue. You don't ever say to yourself, I have imposter syndrome. You just don't say that. You say, let me say it in my own language. I remember one point when I was starting the podcast, even though I'd helped hundreds of entrepreneurs really up-level their thinking, train their brain to allow success, neutralize and erase limiting beliefs, literally catapult them into their calling and vision. Nothing makes me more excited. I still had the conversation in my head, which was, I don't know if I have enough value to bring to the podcast. What? So that if I would have let that go, that would have continued to make me play smaller and smaller and smaller. But I know better because of developing the neurocoach model that allows you to train your brain to allow success and neutralize and erase those things that block you. So I said, wait a minute, that's the lie. So you write down what you actually say to yourself. You get it out of your subconscious, because here's the thing. It's running 90% of your day. it's time for you to no longer give it permission. Now, if you avoid it or try to walk faster than it or pretend that it's not there and then just go get busy, you are actually giving it permission to stay, to grow, and to govern your life, your mind, your business, and your success. I want that to land for a second. Allowing that conversation, those limiting beliefs, those automatic negative thoughts to continue, to give them permission to stay, is literally saying, you have the keys to my future and to my success, and I will bow every time you come and tell me to play small. I hope that landed for you, because girl, you've got a calling to go after. You've got people you need to help. You've got a legacy you need to live. You've got freedom that you want to create. I'm feeling that urge to get on a soapbox, so I'm not going to do that. But here's the thing. The hack to overcome those voices is to get them out in the open. I'm holding a Post-it notes next to me because as I was there in that moment, I wrote, I do not have enough value to bring to the podcast. And then I wrote lie. It was a lie, right? So what was the truth? I started writing down, what's the truth? Well, I've helped these people and I've been able to work on a board where we raised over $1 million, right? I just started writing the truth in opposition to that lie. And the hack becomes, when you hear that come up again, you say to yourself, no, just like you would to a child. You say, no, that's not okay. And then you repeat the truth. And what that does is it destabilizes the automatic network. So I'm not going to get too much more sciencey than that, but overcoming the voices, the automatic negative thoughts, the things that you're telling yourself that are stopping you cold with your foot on the gas and the foot on the brake at the same time, wondering why you're spinning in circles. Just do not ever let one of those thoughts just pass you by. From here on out, just like a child that you need to be able to give them guidance, you say, no, actually, no, this is not okay. Here, I no longer align with that. Thank you very much. And then decide what you're going to align with and practice that more than you practice everything else. So number one, consistency, brain-based consistency, go micro. Number two, overcome the voices, the automatic negative thoughts by bringing them to the light and exposing them as a lie so they no longer have permission to drive your success into the ground. And you become really good at dealing with resistance. In fact, resistance becomes kind of the signal to you that you're on the right path. And if you ask anyone who's been super successful, just think about the person that you look up to, you like to have a business like theirs one day, you admire. If you ask them, or if somebody asked me, do you feel like in flow all the time, that word, which really took people off course, or do you feel resistance on a daily basis? I would tell you every single day, because I'm always trying to be the better version of myself so that I can serve you deeper, so that I can help you unleash and unlock that next level of your calling. That requires that I keep moving the bar. And when I move the bar, it creates resistance. So resistance becomes your friend. That's a little bonus. Okay. And then last mindset that you really need to have to grow a business, I call it, you need to fast forward your future. So what does that mean? You guys, a lot of you were part of our Fast Forward Your Future challenge. We'll do that again, I'm sure, probably sometime in the new year. But here's what I want to tell you. Right now, when it comes to vision, you and I are taught that we write down vision like from a wish list. I want this. I want to have this. It would be great if I had this. It would be fantastic if I had this. I'd really like a 6-figure business. It'd be amazing if I could work only 4 hours a day. It would be incredible to be able to be 20 pounds lighter, whatever it is for you, right? So what we're doing, if I could show you what's going on in your brain, it's shrouded. Your vision is shrouded in the want and the wish and the hope. But in terms of your brain needs to believe it in order for you to see it. Let me say that again. Your brain needs to believe it in order for you to see it. So people have been casting vision, creating vision in opposition to the way your brain actually allows it to come to pass. So what do you do instead? Well, you vision from the future, meaning say that I want to create a six-figure business. Well, the question you need to ask yourself from that standpoint is, what does it look like in my personal life, not the guru's life, not Shannon's life, not Amy Porterfield's life, not, Pete Vargas's life or Brooke Thomas's life, but from your life, what does it look like when you've accomplished six figures in your business? What's going on for you? Well, I'm at all my kids' recitals. I'm working 5 hours a day. So you start to really give your brain, what does six figures look like finished? Because what we do now is we just, it's two-dimensional. It's, I want six figures. Your brain doesn't know what to do with that. It's definitely in opposition to where you are right now. So it throws all kinds of resistance your way, and it makes you very inconsistent. It really pushes forward those automatic negative thoughts and those voices. Instead, you need to move from the future. You got to fast forward your future. So every single desire, wish, goal, want, I want you to take that and flip it to a brain-based vision. And a brain-based vision shows the brain what to believe so that you can see it. So what does a six-figure business mean to you? What does $10,000 a month mean to you? What does that make possible is the question. And you just sit and you write it down. Well, when I'm at $10,000 a month, or when I'm at $100,000 a month, or when I'm at $1 million a month, it makes this possible in my relationships. It makes this possible in my environment. It makes this possible with my calling. It makes this possible with my knowledge. And just write it all down as if it's already happened. Now you've given your brain a vision. Now you've got so much dimension to what it means to get to 10K, 100K, million a month, that your brain goes to work making that a reality. In fact, it gives you the neurochemicals you need to be more consistent. It gives you the dopamine that you need to really be able to hear the voice that is stopping you, neutralizing and erasing it, right? It really does. Everybody asks me, is there a way to train your mindset or to develop a mindset that allows you to go fast? I'm telling you, if you apply this. In fact, I had somebody who is a client now, but wasn't a client at the time, applied just this one piece of the puzzle. We call this brain priming. She wasn't a client yet. And she heard me on a podcast. She did what I kind of laid out for her to do. And she emailed me 2 weeks later, and she's like, Shannon, what kind of magic is this? And I'm like, it's not magic. This is how God wired your mind. This is this is the operating system that you've been given. And even the scripture talks about how to operate this system. A lot of what I'm teaching and talking about through science is there in scripture. It's the powerful tool that you have to really create 100-fold blessings, create more than you could ever ask or imagine, create the life of your dreams, the life of abundance. It's capacity to do that isn't in your intelligence. It isn't in the strategy. It is in how your mind allows it. So if we know from science that in order for your brain to create it in reality, in order for you to create it in reality, your brain needs to believe it first and see it as if it's already happening first, and then you will see it in reality. And so you can see how inconsistency, how automatic negative thoughts and limiting beliefs being there, and then visioning from a wish list versus a brain-based vision is literally like throwing anchors down to the success that you want. So this podcast is really dedicated to you, the one that's out there with this big dream, this big vision, this big calling. Maybe you've already started your business and it's not going fast enough because you have a big vision to see people helped and to create legacy and freedom in your life. Or maybe you're in a 9-to-5 and you're like sitting there saying to yourself, I really want to start this thing. And I feel so drawn and called to it, but there's been inconsistency. There's been a lot of limiting beliefs that have been slowing you down, mental blocks that have been stopping you. And even though you've had a vision, that vision has been a wish list. So I wanted to give you these 3 hacks of how to create consistency, go micro, right? How to overcome those limiting beliefs, those automatic negative thoughts, define them, pull them out, and create the truth, right? Create the truth and practice that truth. And then number 3, don't create a wish list vision, create a brain-based vision. So you allow your brain to see it and believe it so that you can see it in reality. That is the mindset you must have in order to grow a successful, really, in order to do anything. And I focus a lot on business and entrepreneurs and growing a business. We're going to be talking over the next few weeks about growing a coaching business. To me, right now, more than ever, the fastest growing sector in the online space is coaching, because right now, more than ever, people have problems and they need coaches to help them go faster and get the result that they want. And so we'll be talking about that specific business in upcoming weeks, what you can do to start and grow a coaching business. But today, I really wanted to unlock for you these 3 brain-based mental hacks that will really uplevel your mindset so that you can really grow that business of your dreams. So, hack of consistency, overcoming those voices, and having a brain-based vision will allow you to collapse time, go quickly towards your dreams. All right. Until next week on the podcast, if you are somebody who's considering coaching, wanting to grow a business that has an element of coaching, or you're already a coach and you're wanting to go faster, down in the show notes, I have a link to get on a wait list for the certification. This is the only brain-based neuro certification that is a life coaching certification. You can use it for business coaching as well. But here's the thing. It's the only certification that teaches you how to create transformation in the mind and remove blocks in the mind permanently. In other words, no other certification out there is going to make you a better coach, which makes you raving fans, which creates sold out coaching programs. So down in the show notes, there's a link for a wait list. Get on that wait list. And we'll have a workshop coming up talking about how to do that, how to grow a coaching business, how to scale one, and how to get those first clients and scale it from there. That link is down below. Make sure you get on the wait list to be invited to that workshop. All right, that's what I have for you this week. I will see you next week on the Epic Success Podcast. Bye for now.